Good evening, everyone. We welcome to the meeting of your Westland City Council. We will begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilman Hart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Baumann.
Present.
Councilman Hart.
Present.
Councilman Hersberg. Here. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Present.
Councilman Wishart.
Present.
Pro Tem Sampe.
Here.
President McDermott.
I'm here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. We will begin tonight's meeting of your Westland City Council with special announcements and presentations. We will have a legislative update from our state senator, Dana Polhanke. Yep.
That's me, what I look like. The weird name on the signs, that's me. Well, thank you. Thank you, Council President McDermott, President Pro Tem Sampe, all the council people, mayor, police, fire, and chief. I'm here to do a legislative update. Again, my name is Dana Polhanke, in case you never knew how to pronounce it. And I represent all of Westland, all of Canton Township, all of Garden City, all of Inkster, and a part of Livonia where I live. And Westland, since redistricting happened, is a little bit newer to me, so I'm looking forward, if you guys have things going on, I've already talked to Mayor, please invite me, and I'm hoping to attend as many things as I can. At some point, I'm gonna get a coffee hour in Westland. I'm kind of moving around to different parts of our community, but my next coffee hour is Thursday, April 25th at the Radcliffe Center, and that is, the time is 6 o'clock p.m. Okay. I'm really proud to report that in 2023, then Representative Coleman and I were able to deliver, I think it was $7 million for your fire station upgrades. In total, I was able to secure $30 million for my district in district projects. I'm gonna level set expectations for this year. There's not as much money, so I'm gonna do my best for you guys. Encourage Mayor, if you haven't, I think you've gotten your priorities over to us already. One of the communities that did that on time, thank you. And I'm proud to say in 2023, my office was able to respond to 4,220 constituents, and I personally had 7 bills passed into law, which is a real treat for me. It's stuff I very much care about. If we want to start with Westland Schools, the budget for last year delivered an $8.6 million increase to Wayne Westland Community Schools, and I hope that at some point this, trickles down to teacher pay and things programs that benefit students. Hopefully, they'll start seeing some of that, so it seems real to them. Let's see. The budget for 24-25 years is happening right now, and the governor's budget has 5% ongoing increase in statutory revenue sharing and a one-time 2% allocation to support public safety. I really, really support this. As Council President McDermott knows, I've talked to him before, Michigan is pitiful in terms of statutory revenue sharing. I believe we're last in the country. So to get a 5% ongoing increase in that would be a big deal for Westland, and I will support that. I'd like to talk just briefly about a few laws that most of them took effect February 13th of this year. The seniors pension was repealed. So the pension tax, it's sometimes called the retirement tax, that's now gone. The earned income tax credit, or it's a tax credit for working families, people who work but still are struggling. Hopefully, my constituents were some of the 700,000 Michiganders who got checks in the mail for up to $550 from that law. We recently repealed drug industry immunity. So if a drug pharmaceutical company needs to be sued, we can do that now. We are working, and I gotta go home and look at the budget for school aid tonight, because we're working on as close as we can get to universal preschool. So this would be preschool for kids, optional, but free for as many Michigan kids as we can get. So this would be like your 4-year-olds. There is nothing like early education, early formal education, however you do it. Public school, charter school, private, parochial, homeschool, half day, full day, all of it's good. So, and we're getting as close as we can to expanding the Michigan Achievement Scholarship so that we have community college for all. In order to get that scholarship, you have to fill out the FAFSA. I know there's been problems with FAFSA rollout, but I do support every graduating senior to get that FAFSA in. There's so much money that's left on the table, it's unbelievable. Billions, because kids don't think, they think, well, I'm not going to college, there won't be any money for me. And wow, surprise, surprise, there can be some big money. And it's not just for college, it can be for trade schools, cosmetology schools, things like that. We have elections coming up. Ooh, I'm not going to talk about who to vote for, but I know you do have a big election coming up tomorrow. And I think it was important that we make elections as easy to vote for as possible. We had 9 days of early in-person voting. So it's not the big rush to the polls. Oh my gosh, I forgot to research my candidates. Who am I going to vote for? You have 9 days to do that. You also have no reason absentee voting, same-day voter registration. And we have made it a crime to intimidate election officials, which happened, it really happened a lot in Livonia. Intimidate election workers at your risk. One thing I'm really proud of is the free school meals. So anyone who has a kid in school, you now know that you're not going to have to scramble and every morning to pack the breakfast, do the lunch. That's provided to all kids in Michigan schools. And I have a bill, Senate Bill 500, that would make that permanent. There's different ways to use taxpayer money, and I think that I can't think of a much better way than this. It reduces stigma, it makes sure kids are fed so they can concentrate. And one thing I will say is I've heard that I visited schools where breakfast is a granola bar and lunch is chicken nuggets. That's not good. And then there's other schools where they're having like eggs Benedict for breakfast. And the money is there, so whatever vendor your school system uses is probably going to determine the quality of the lunch. It should be a nutritious lunch. So if your kids are coming home and saying, I get a sugary granola bar for breakfast, that's not good enough. So I would encourage you, check that out. Know that there's a lot of money provided for this, and a way to cut corners on the quality of the food is not it. And then the gun laws. I just want to tell, as of February 13th, some pretty different, what I consider gun safety laws went into effect. And I was talking before excuse me, I'm trying to get to the gun safety laws here, with police chief, fire chief, Councilman Wishart knows something about this. There are 4 new gun laws I'd like to tell you and residents about that took effect February 13th. The first is safe storage requirements. Gun owners are now required to store unattended weapons unloaded with either a locking device or in a locked container when the firearm could be accessible to a minor. You know, I encourage anyone who has guns, you really do have to take this seriously. If your gun is in your truck and your truck is unlocked and a minor goes in to your truck and hurts somebody, you're probably going to spend some time in jail. That's just the way it is. There was a story in Michigan. These grandparents had a gun laying around and a 6-year-old shot a 5-year-old and killed the 5-year-old. And I'm sure the grandparents are utterly devastated. Unfortunately, they're probably going to spend a little time in jail. That's how serious it is. There are some places where you can get free gun locks. I encourage you to look into that. The next one is universal background checks. Background checks are no longer only applicable to handgun sales. A background check is now a requirement of any and all firearm purchases. Purchasers must obtain a license to purchase prior to purchasing a firearm. Then there's something called a red flag law you may have heard of, or an extreme risk protection law. These, the courts can issue this order to prevent a person's access to firearms temporarily, okay, if they show clear warning signs of violence to themselves or others and pose a threat. And then the last one is domestic violence related. Those convicted, okay, convicted of a domestic violence offense, including misdemeanors, are now prohibited from possessing or purchasing a firearm for 8 years following the conviction. So as you can see, this is like, these aren't small changes, these are big changes to gun laws. So I want to make sure that everyone knows about those. And I believe that's the end of my prepared statements. If there are any questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Thanks. No, we don't take questions from.
Oh.
But if you want to stick around to talk to folks, you're welcome to stick around and talk to folks and answer their questions one-on-one.
Okay, how about this? I'm going to go in the back for 5 or 10 minutes, and if someone wants to catch me out there, because then I do have to get home and look at a budget that's due tomorrow. So I will stand out there for 10 minutes if anyone wants to ask me a question from the audience. Is that good?
Well,
Is that
sounds
okay?
good. And thank you, Senator
Okay, thank you
Polanki, for
so
showing.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We will now move on to public comment on the agenda. This section will allow members of the public at the beginning of the meeting to address the council regarding items that are on tonight's business agenda. Questions asked may be responded to during the agenda item following a motion and support from your city council. Is there anyone on my left? Is there anyone on my right? Is there anyone else in the audience? Public comment on the agenda. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will close public comment on the agenda and move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilman Hart, supported by Pro Tem Sampe. Is there any discussion from the maker?
I have no changes to
No changes to the consent calendar from the maker. Are there any changes from the?
I have no changes.
Okay, is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting held April 1, 2024. Adoption of prepared land division resolution of the parcel located at the southeast corner of Ann Arbor Trail and Middle Belt Road. This was Planning Department number 1051G, and the land division was approved by City Council March 18, 2024. Traffic Control Order 2024-03, change the northbound and southbound Hicks yellow school zone speed limit signs from all year to school days only for Johnson School. Approval of renewal of web hosting services agreement with Civic Plus LLC to maintain our city website domain. Renewals for a one-year period, the amount not to exceed $13,280.62. Approval of purchase of a new set of Jaws of Life for the fire department. Administration recommended purchase from the sole source McQueen Equipment in an amount not to exceed $39,840. Approval of purchase of ProGuard seatbelt retro kits for the police department. Administration recommended purchase from the sole source Priority One Emergency in an amount not to exceed $15,959.76. Approval of purchase of new swing sets for Kaylee and Firefighters Park. Administration recommended the purchase from Sinclair Recreation LLC, doing business as Game Time, in an amount not to exceed $35,679.72. Adoption of prepared land division resolution for the parcel at the southeast corner of Ann Arbor Trail and Middlebelt. I don't know why that's being repeated, but it is, so we'll move past that. The last item approved on the consent calendar today, approval of request from Relay for Life to waive the administrative fees for rental of the Farmers Market Pavilion and the Lions Pavilion for various Relay for Life events to be held June 4th through June 8th, 2024, and June 24, 2024. Moving to payment of voucher.
Support.
There is a motion by Councilman Hersberg, supported by Councilwoman Rakowski. Any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Is there any additional discussion from the council? Any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries.
Moving to new business, item 1, public hearing for the 2024-2025 Community Development Block Grant Annual Plan. This public hearing date was set March 18, 2024. You simply ask if folks have comment.
Is there any comment from the public regarding the Community Development Block Grant Home Program? This is now the time for public comment on this, specifically CDBG Home Program. Is there anyone on my left? Public comment. Anyone on my right? Yes. And ma'am, when you do come up to the lectern, if you could give your name and city of residence. Thank you.
My name is Judith Yates, and I'm here on behalf of Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church of Westland. I am here along with Miss Betty Holmes, Miss Marilyn Wilson, and Miss Sanaya White to ask for funding for our summer youth program. The summer youth program, the mission of our program is to provide the youth of Westland and the surrounding areas with a productive, safe, and fun environment for the summer. Our program services youth age 9 to 17 with a pre-COVID average of 31 students per day. Our curriculum has included lessons and supporting activities that focus on self-development, character building, citizenship, and practical skills. These programs have included a reading program where we actually go to the surrounding libraries, purchase used books, separate them by reading levels, and then the kids get to pick out their own books. We read them during the program, and they get to take them home. We have focused on bullying and cyberbullying, the cause and effects, and how to respond, conflict resolutions, tools to de-escalate and resolve, social behavior and etiquette, healthy self-esteem, developing healthy relationships, critical thinking, decision-making, and establishing priorities. We also teach journaling as a way of self-expression. We work on career goals, having them research the career, their chosen occupation, what's the median income for it, what's the best college and university for it, and who's the most successful person at it. And then we create vision boards to correlate between visualizing and actually achieving their future goals. We have in the past partnered with Beaumont Hospital to provide Cooking Matters for Teens, where they have learned how to read nutrition labels, what the components of a meal versus a snack is, and then they actually learn how to prepare their own healthy meals. We have partnered with the National Kidney Foundation of Michigan to provide healthy kids and kidneys for our high school age kids and the PE Nut program for the elementary age kids. Both programs support nutrition and increased physical activities. We work on 6 pillars of character, helping the kids identify those values and characteristics that will help make them a good citizen. We have focused on internet and social media safety and personal safety, which was taught by 2 college students who had also participated in our program. We have had guest speakers come in from the community, small business owners, financial advisors, psychologists, educators, and coaches, and college students to talk about the resources available to them to help them succeed. We have worked with Officer Rodney Donald of the Westland Police Department. He comes and talks to the kids.
Ma'am, I do want to let you know your time is up.
Okay. Can I make one last statement?
The time is up, unfortunately. There will, if somebody else wants to come up and speak on your behalf, they can certainly finish. Yep.
Sanaya?
Need a name.
And we do need a name and city of residence, please.
My name is Sanaya White. I live in Wayne, Michigan. I've been a part of the program since I was about 9 years old. I've been able to experience all of the guest speaking and the activities that we were able to do. And this past year, I was able to actually be a leader in the camp. I could say that we definitely do experience a lot of things, especially for kids that are less fortunate, that aren't able to, have a good summer, and their parents aren't able to, afford certain things. They can come to this program for free and experience things during the summer. And we participated also in the Westland Police Summer Youth Academy over this past summer. We went to the Imagination Station in Toledo, the Michigan Sea Life Aquarium, the Adventure Park, the Metro Youth Day in Belle Isle, and the Jiffy Factory, the Fire Department, U of M Museum of Natural History, the DIA, the Museum of African American History, and the Stepping Stones program. And we've also did overnight trips throughout the program as well.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Council President,
Yes.
if I may, can you ask, I'd like to ask through the chair to the young ladies that got up, what organization and how much money we were requesting for your project?
The name of we're representing the Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church of Westland Summer Youth Program, and we're requesting $25,000. One of the things that we want to do this year is take the kids on a 2-day trip to Washington, D.C. So that's where the bulk of the cost will be.
That's the total.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you.
But she's got,
Oh, we're gonna just make her
Councilman.
work that other leg until it needs a.
No problem.
Thank you, Council President. Through the chair, actually, to Joanne, Director Campbell. I think that we do have some line item for this project in our grant. Are you able to confirm the amount that we currently have in the grant for the project?
Yes, thank you, through the Council President. This is the most recent request from Gethsemane Church Summer Program. So in this current, the city has not funded this program in the past.
Okay.
If I might share, we currently fund the Samuel B. Ware Summer Camp and summer camp activities at the Jefferson Barnes Community Center, both for lesser amounts than what's being requested here.
Okay, thank you so much. Can I follow up with the
this is,
petition?
technically it's a public hearing.
It's fine.
So the council is usually not asking questions.
Okay, no worries. I'm going to speak with you after, if that's okay. Just
Sure.
ask some questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up. This is the public hearing. This is the opportunity to speak on the CDBG Home Annual Plan. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Daniel Zuba, that's S-Z-U-B-A. I've been a lifetime resident of Nankin Township in Westland, Navy veteran. Got a bit of a problem here. This 12th district, congressional 12th district.
So does this have to do with the Community Development Block Grant Program? This is a public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant Program. There will be additional time for public comment at the end of the meeting. This is specifically the public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Program. But there will be additional time if you wish to comment on something else at the end of the meeting.
All right,
There is
so I'm
public
wondering how
comment.
to help we can get away from this 12th district. Is that later?
That's later. We can talk about that
All right.
later. Yep, absolutely.
And also,
this
it's been
is-
reported many times to the police department.
Is this on the community? If you have opportunity later to do public comment on any topic you wish, this one is on the Community Development Block Grant Program only. Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the audience wishing to comment on the public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant? Yes, sir, Mr. Warren.
Arthur Warren, citizen of Westland. The federal government has provided members of the community the liberty to come together as a group, which is represented under this block grant program as citizens to make recommendations. And those individuals are from the disabilities community, Wayne Westland Schools, Southeast Homeowners Association, Senior Alliance, and the Housing Department, and also the Mayor's Office. In regards to their projected funds, there was a unanimous approval by the committee that they receive these $25,000 in funds. Okay? Just want to get that out the way. But the main thing here is that the city has nothing to offer the individuals in the southeast corner of Westland. And when the individuals come together as a group to form an association to provide something for the youth in the community, that should be looked at very seriously and hopeful for passage. The community, like I said, going back to the committee's recommendations that they receive the full amount and not dependent upon what the Samuel B. Ware gets. They're two independent programs. So there was a lot of discussion in regards to this, but the main thing is that as council and the administration, that you know factually that you have nothing to offer. And so when citizens come together to pull themselves together, to organize themselves to provide something for the community, that should be not turned down. That should be not turned down. Unless I can get an answer for any one of you up there on council that you have something else to offer to the citizens of this community and the citizens of Westland at large at this particular point in time. So I would say this, is that it's a wonderful thing when people of the community come together to try to take care of their own and provide an outlet of social, educational, and awareness of their community together. And also it helps the southeast section of Westland by not having the children run up and down the street, because basically I live down the street from the church and they generally keep them well organized. But they need funding to start their program. They need the funding to start their program. And they don't need any particular handcuffs in regards to the program. In other words, some programs demand that the individuals come up with the $25,000 before they start the program. And that should not be. And I thank you for your time.
Okay, anyone else? Last call for comment on the public hearing. Yes, Ms. Warren.
Good evening, Christina Worm, City of Westland. I'd also like to speak on behalf of the funding for the Gethsemane project. I mean, as you know, right now, the school district is in a lot of trouble, so there's not a lot of traveling that families, or that the district is helping families to do. I know I went to Washington DC, that's a trip that they're planning for them. When I was in 8th grade, it was a fabulous experience. This isn't something that necessarily they're asking for a full funding of every single year. They're coming to us to try to get this kicked off, started type situation, and to afford students who are not able, citizens who are not able to have these experiences, an opportunity to have this experience in this year. So I thought it was a wonderful opportunity to fund this, to be able to give them this chance and this opportunity. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Last call. Anyone else? Public comment on the public hearing for CDBG?
Delano Hornbuckle, City of Westland. I also want to jump on a bandwagon and say, yes, we need to make sure we find a way to fund this program. I stand here before you today because I would love for a younger guy, looks like me, to be able to go to Washington, D.C. I believe this is a great program for the younger me to be able to have that opportunity. I've never been to Washington, D.C., but if I can help pave the way for someone else, I think this is a great opportunity. So please look into that and make consideration to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience wishing to comment on the public hearing? Okay, seeing motion to close public hearing. There's support?
Support.
There's a motion to close public hearing by Councilman Hersberg, supported by Pro Tem Sampe. Is there any discussion from the maker? No. Any discussion from the supporter? Any discussion from the council? Is there any dissent? Any dissent? Hearing and seeing none, motion carries.
New business. Item 2, approval of minutes of the budget study session held April 13, 2024.
So moved. Support.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Pro Tem Sampe. Is there any discussion from the maker?
No.
Is there any discussion from the supporter? Is there any additional discussion from the council? Any dissent?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Baumann.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Hersberg. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Yes.
Councilman Wishart.
Yes.
Pro Tem Sampe.
Yes.
President McDermott.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. We will now move on to public comment on the agenda. Everyone speaking for the council shall do so in a civil manner. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the orderly conduct of the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public will not be tolerated. The clock will start upon the first words of the speaker and will not stop while the speaker is recognized from the floor. The speaker can ask questions at this time, and the person questioned may respond during the speaker's allotment of time. However, the clock will not be stopped once it is started. The clock will continue to run until the 3 minutes is up or the person is done speaking, whichever comes first. Is there anyone on my right? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Daniel Zuba, longtime resident all my life of Nankin and Westland, Navy veteran. We have a problem here with the 12th district from the government, 12th District of Michigan. Is there any way we can get out of that 12th district? I really don't want Westland to be known as the Michigan Gaza Strip. Know what I mean? It's real heavy in Dearborn, and I don't want it coming this way, and we be any kind of a part of it. And also, for the police department, we've got a neighbor that's had many complaints against them about selling unlicensed vehicles. They buy them at an auction, park them in their driveway or their garage, work on them all night long, irritating some of the neighborhoods over in the cul-de-sac, and put them up for sale. There's been as many as, I've seen as many as 3 car carriers, that carries 7 or 8 brand-new vehicles, parked in the neighborhood unloading cars to go over there, 2 or 3 at a time. They've been parked across my driveway, had to go out and tell one of the drivers to get the hell out of there. That's private. But nothing's being done about it. The neighbors have called the state, they've called the Westland Police Department, they've made many, many, many complaints. And this has been going on for a couple of years. They're not buying license plates for these vehicles. They pull them out, and you can see them hauling out a plate off the shelf in the garage. You go over and hang it on the car for a test drive. Not right. I've got the name and address right here. It's at Clinton Court in the southwest corner of the city. We really need to get something done about that, and I don't want Westland becoming part of the Gaza Strip.
Thank you, sir. I would remind folks regarding the comments that are made here tonight, please refrain from offensive language. Referring to this area as the 12th district is the Gaza Strip, sir. I think Dearborn is a wonderful community, and I think that it is bordering on an offensive remark to refer to a particular community as the Gaza Strip. So again, I will remind any speaker that comes up here to refrain from using offensive language. Thank you. Is there anyone? Sir, your time is up, sir. Your time is up, sir.
Still not gonna drive it in Dearborn. Not like that.
Sir, your time is up. Is there anyone on my left for public comment? Yes.
Lori Wilson. I have it's going to end up being more than 2 questions. I need to know how many humps are being, street humps, or speed humps are going to be allocated for the Annapolis Park and Carver Sub per block? Because we only had one, and it was only maybe 8 blocks. And when will the placement start, and what area will be started first? As I said before, my great-grandchildren are young. The weather is nice. These kids like being outside. They've been outside for the last, even in the rain. And we still have speeders. I saw one of your police officers today, just one. My granddaughter told me to tell him thank you for escorting her down to the house off of Michigan Avenue, because that's where they were sitting. But we need the same protection everybody else is getting in the city. We want some police protection, and we also want the placement of these humps. It is now time to put them back down. Okay? That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on my right? Yes, sir.
My name is Kevin Finley, of City of Westland. I don't really know where to start, but I'll start with this. Are you familiar with the canoe docking that's going on, the construction that's going on in Westland, on Merriman and Alcona? I've been living over in that area for a moment. You have peacock, you have deer, you have quail, you have frogs, you have all types of animals back in that area. Today, I have on my phone pictures of this wildlife, which was lovely. You know, it is what it is. But the destruction I've seen that's going on with even the killing of vegetation, the trees just stacked 3-4 feet high, 20 yards long. I know money's been spent, but is there a way to stop this project? I was speaking to the construction men one day, and they said that a section was cut off for wildlife. But when I walked it today, it's like a 20-yard section, and so almost 100 yards, over 100 yards have been taken from wildlife. I really compare this to such an atrocity, something like the Holocaust. That's what I felt in my heart. I felt it was a shame, and for $25,000 not to be given, but just imagine how much money is being spent to do something that's truthfully, a canoeing is only about going to be maybe a 3-month sport. And then the rest of the year, nothing else is going to go on in that area. But those animals, that wildlife are going to lose their homes. It's like taking all of us in this room and packing us in a can of sardines. About 20 yards, maybe 30 yards of area for the wildlife. Can anything be done to stop this project? Anyone from the chair?
We can come down and talk to you about it afterwards, sir.
Okay.
It's a county project, but I'd be happy to talk to you about the
Excuse me?
It's a county project, but I'd be happy to talk to you about the specifics of the project.
Okay,
As best I
thank
know. Thank you. Mayor, did you have a comment on that? Okay. All right, is there anyone else on my left, public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Again, my name is Judith Yates, and I'm here on behalf of Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church of Westland. Not to be redundant, but I know there are other programs in the area, Jefferson Barnes and Samuel B. Ware, for the young people. But we have a choice to make. We can either invest on them in the front end or pay for them on the back end. Our program's focus is to specifically create good, intelligent citizens for the city of Westland. You heard Sanaya say she had been in the program since she was 9 years old. We have kids who are in college, adults now that are in college that come back to volunteer to help us every year. We have one young lady that's in graduate school that arranged her schedule last summer between work and school just so she can come back and help out because she wants to give back because she felt like this program gave so much to her. So I know there's already programs, but there's obviously still a need because the kids keep coming back. So I just again respectfully ask you to consider funding our program. I think it's very important to get these kids to DC this year. It's an election year. To some of them, Washington, DC is an abstract concept that they can't even conceive of. So, we want them to be able to see the Capitol. We want them to be able to understand the importance of voting and being a good citizen. So, again, just a last-ditch effort to ask you to please consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment, anyone on my right? Yes, sir.
Hi, Brandon Tubbs, resident of Westland. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate y'all time and efforts. My big question is, well, we're missing somebody. And maybe it's not very proper for me to continue on. But was there a member of council that wasn't here for the hearing? For the hearing for the budgets, the approvals? Is there a member missing from this last study session?
Yeah, I can answer. There was, yes.
There was? Okay. Was that member here?
That member is not here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to see my tax dollars are wasted. I want everyone to remember that person ditched out. They ditched out of Westland. They'll ditch out of the rest of this district. They don't care about that budget. And even going forward, they probably wouldn't care about that budget when they get somewhere else
okay,
where they're
sir.
going. I know. I'm
Bordering on a
called
personal
anybody
attack
out.
here, sir.
But you see my point. I don't understand that. It's like Mayor Wild when he was here. Just walk off. La-di-da. Maybe I won't show up. That's a big part of being a citizen. I think we all need to understand that. We have a responsibility. If we're here for the duration. We're not here for just when we want to be here. I wish more people had that mentality. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Mr. McDermott. Thank you, Miss Melissa. Andrea, thank you. Mr. Hart, thank you. Jim, thank you. Kevin, thank you. Please pass along the information. I'm sure you will. Thank you, James. And anybody else I missed, thank you. But it's important when we get up here that we let everybody know how important their jobs are. And by being here and representing what we need to talk to about them or with them is important. So thank you much. Appreciate your time. God bless.
Okay, public comment. Is there anyone on my left? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Edna Lewis, and I'm a resident of Westland, also a former teacher of Wayne Westland School District for almost 30 years over at the Stoudemire building, and I'm also a member of Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church and also one of the people that helped with the program, specifically the reading program. And I'd just like to comment on that, the importance of it. You know, reading is something that you need in every area. You need it in math to read problems. You need it in music to read notes. You need it in art to read the colors, and you need it everywhere. And I just wanted to speak on the importance of that. And that's one of the components that's very important in the program. And hopefully you will see that and hopefully give us the funding that we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comment. Anyone else on my right? Anyone else on my left? Yes, Delano.
Delano Hornbuckle, City of Westland. I just want to bring up something to your guys' attention that people have been asking me about lately is what's going on with our street signs. Everyone's street name is changing from avenue to street to avenue, and some street signs are incorrect. So I just want to bring that to you guys' attention that something's a little off with our street signs. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on my right wishing to speak? Anyone else on my left? Kim.
My name's Kim Kogelschatz, Westland resident. I have 3 comments. One, I had 2 senior residents make a request to me. If you could possibly put the Westland calendar in with the water bill, the printout. They don't use emails or computers. The second is what Dana Polhanke was talking about as far as gun safety. Unfortunately, I know parents that had a gun, a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. They assumed the gun safety lock was safe enough, but it wasn't. The 3-year-old undid the switch and killed the 6-year-old. I think more people need to be aware of that. And the last thing, our library is having a book sale the first weekend of May. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on my right? Anyone else on my left for public comment? Mr. Warren.
Okay, first of all, in regards to the kayaking adventure, I was involved going to the meetings of the kayaking. Westland is the last link in the walkthrough from Canton all the way down to the Detroit River. Westland is the last link that has to be completed. And that is a county financed through the Michigan DNR project. So there's nothing that you guys can do with it, and it's in another city anyway. Okay, it's in Wayne anyway. Second thing is that, and looking back on the committee that make these recommendations for these federal funds is that we found that there are like $355,000 worth of community development funds going to other entities other than the community. Police, code officers, Friendship Center, and other things where that money could be well spent in the Norwayne community and the Carver subdivision. So this issue, we received over $1 million in funding. And I don't think there should be any negativity about $25,000 of it being spent in regards to the human capital. When we approve carpet, most of the budgets that I've looked at in regards to our committee, they've all been way over what was spent. Just to give you an example, when you approved that carpet for the Friendship Center, $35,000 was allotted, but only $17,000 was spent. So where's the other $18,000 going? Don't know. But every year, there's $35,000 allotted to the Friendship Center with no entity of what's going to be done with it. But the bottom line here is this. It is council and the mayor's office that has final decision on our recommendations. The final decision on our recommendations. That's what the federal government said, and that's one reason why we're appealing to you tonight in regards to this community project. And I know for a fact that, Mr. Mayor, in your visits to the two churches, you said that you would help them out in any way that you can. And so hopefully that you will have some positive input in regards to this program so we can get it off the ground and hope that it's a positive one. But council has to be very wary of the recommendations that the committee is making now because we come from within the community.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Your time is up.
It's never up. 2 weeks from now, I'll be back.
I'll talk to you after.
Okay, you got it.
Is there anyone else on my right? Anyone else on my left? Anyone else in the audience, public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will close public comment. We will now move on to comments from the administration. Mayor?
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, City Council. Thank you, residents, everybody who spoke tonight. Thank you, staff. I want to share a little bit about our budget process. On April 1st, I submitted the city's proposed 3-year balanced budget for 2024 and 2025. For the last Saturday and the next 2 Saturdays, we're holding budget study sessions here at City Hall. It's open to the public. They start at 10 a.m. and they go till 2 p.m. Right here in the council conference room. Highlights of the budget include major investments in public safety, parks and recreation, senior services, roads, infrastructure, water and sewer infrastructure, and much more. I'm going to be getting into a lot more detail as we go through the process and sharing more with the community, but I wanted to let you know that I'm filming a budget overview segment on our community media channel. So you'll see that start airing pretty soon, where I have the directors come in, including our police chief and fire chief. We are actually working on that today to get very specific about the changes in the budget that I'm proposing and working with City Council on. But I just wanted to ask residents to please watch out for that on our community media channel and also on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. So we'll be sharing a lot more details about the changes. We're working on a lot of great stuff for you. I do appreciate all the input tonight, and it's always taken with very serious consideration, so thank you for that. I wanted to let the community know that city offices will be closed tomorrow, April 16th, because of the special election, and that's for the 25th District State Representative seat. Trash and recycling pickup will not be delayed this week due to offices being closed. I also want to invite the community to our Earth Day celebration, which is coming up Monday, April 22nd at 10 a.m. at Corrado Park. And this year we'll be highlighting green initiatives that we've taken in the city and the 3 Bs Community Garden over there at Corrado Park and all that our beautiful parks and nature preserves here in Westland have to offer. We'll be talking a lot more about that. We actually did a community branding and strategy session here at City Hall where about 40 residents came out. And I took particular notice that our parks and recreational areas were something that people highlighted over and over again. So that's something that's not lost on us. We have a lot of beautiful natural areas here in the city. Thank you to the gentleman who talked about the Merriman area where the canoes are being put in. I do understand your concerns there. And as the council president stated, it is a county project. I wasn't aware of how much was being cut down over there, but I will go take a look. And so thank you for that feedback as well. I'd also like to invite everyone to attend the next stop on my mayor's listening tour, which we're moving around to different locations throughout town. Again, it's called a listening tour because we're doing the listening, the community's doing the talking and the sharing. We do talk about what we're working on, but we're there to take notes and listen to you and take in that feedback. The next one will be Wednesday, April 24th at 9:30 a.m. at the Westland Friendship Center right here on Newburgh Road, just south of Ford Road. There was an ad that went out in a local paper. There was a misprint where it said PM. It is 9:30 a.m., just so everybody knows. Saturday, April 27th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., the Westland Rotary Canine Corral Cleanup Day will be going on. And we're asking for volunteers to assist in raking leaves and preparing the grounds for our pets, our dogs that'll be over there throughout the summer. The Westland Parks Department is asking you to please bring your own rake, leaf bags, gloves. I'm sorry, you can bring your own rake, but leaf bags, gloves, and water will be provided. I also wanted to highlight that if you drive by City Hall at night, you'll see that it is lit in blue now. I want to thank Councilwoman Sampe for the suggestion. It is Autism Awareness Month. And I want to ask you to please join City Council and I for an Autism Awareness Walk, which will take place on Sunday, April 28th. The doors open at 12:30, and the walk will begin promptly here at City Hall at 1 p.m. I'd like to also take this opportunity to congratulate the Westland Police Department on their continued effort to improve department transparency and accountability by once again receiving accreditation as a Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agency. That's abbreviated as CALEA, so you've probably heard that before. And they've become a certified agency once again. So congratulations on that. I do appreciate the chief who's making a lot of changes in the department. And I think we have a shared vision for how we want our policing to occur here in Westland. So I appreciate that. Ann Arbor Trail Road between Sanford and Merriman will have a repaving project which will start April 30th and go on through the construction season. I just wanted to let the residents and folks who are driving in that area know ahead of time. This is going to go on weather permitting, so it's possible it could start later, but we have it scheduled to start April 30th. Ms. Wilson, you did mention speed humps in the Annapolis Park neighborhood. We are going to be installing more humps than last year, but I can get more specific about where they'll be, how many per street with you at a later date. But we are going to be getting those installed very soon. But I did talk to our DPS director and asked him to look specifically at that neighborhood and find more locations for them. So you'll see more, and I'm always open, you know, if you think there's a particular intersection or curved area where it might be more dangerous, just happy to take that feedback from you and work on that for you. So I appreciate you bringing that up. And then Mr. Hornbuckle, thank you for the heads up about the street signs. We have been changing them. It's something that has been going on for a couple months now. The issue that our DPS department is having, they have their own sign shop and they're going off the state registry of roads, and some of the roads are differently named on the state registry than how they're historically named here in the city. So there's been a couple of mistakes here and there, but as people point those out, whether it be avenue or drive or road, we're getting those fixed as we can. So appreciate that, and that's all I have tonight. Thank you, City Council. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. Anything from the City Attorney's Office this evening?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. We will start council comments tonight with our newest council member, Councilman Wishart.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to take this time to announce who I am. As you guys know, it's been 2 weeks since I've been appointed. A little about me. I grew up in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, to be precise, on the east side. My family moved down here when I was going to high school. I spent the first couple of years here going to high school at John Glenn, just like many of you guys have here. Moved to Garden City after that. It's that. After that, I left at home, just like everyone else does, and joined the military. I spent 8 years serving in the United States Navy. After that, I decided to move somewhere, and this place is home. This place was where my family's at. This is where my whole life's at. Me and my wife had a choice to move anywhere in the world, anywhere, and we chose here. I love this place. This is where I'm going to be at. I came back home, went to college, went to Eastern for criminal justice, didn't decide to become a cop, decided to become a business. Wish I would have chosen a different degree at that point, but that's life. Worked at Walmart as a salaried manager, left Walmart and decided to work for Aramark as a market manager. I saw this opportunity come up and I jumped on it because I want to serve the community. I want to make our place that we live in a better place. That's all I got.
Thank you. We will now hear from Councilwoman Rakowski.
Thank you, Council President. In light of the long day that the clerk will have, I'll just wish everyone a good evening, and we'll see you at our first meeting in May or at our study sessions. Thank you.
Okay. We will now hear from Councilwoman Baumann.
Thank you. I also will keep my comments short tonight, but I do also want to encourage people to come to the study sessions, as Mayor said, and we have 2 more scheduled at this point. Those budget study sessions, I really encourage people to come and be able to ask questions and hear the dialogue that's going on. It's really important because this is the time that we are studying how we're going to hopefully wisely use the taxpayer dollars to support Westland. So having that feedback, and if you can't make it, feel free to send us emails, call us, leave messages, because it's important to have public input as we're going through this process. So I'm just going to put that plug in for this Saturday, and then, yes, we'll see you at the next council meeting, and yes, remember to vote tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you. We will now hear from Councilman Hart.
Thank you, Council President. Two will be brief and out of respect for the clerk. So thank you. I have one thing. I'd like to thank all our friends at Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church who came out and told us about your program. I now have an email into the Council President. I am requesting that on the next agenda, that we have an agenda item to allocate $25,000 from the ARPA balance to fund your program. I don't think we'll be able to move as fast with a CDBG rearrangement, but we have a couple other tools in our toolbox, and that is one of them. So I am moving that forward. I would ask my colleagues to support that so that we can get that on the next agenda. Thank you.
Okay, great. We will now hear from Pro Tem.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that up to Councilman. I replied back and said, yes, let's add it in. As stated, it would move quicker to fund the project rather than rearranging the budget, but I think it's a worthy program. Thank you again for coming up. Wow, what a great summer that these campers will have, and you can just tell by your passion. I think it's well deserved, the money. So thank you again for bringing this to our attention. I wholeheartedly support it. Want to send my kids there too, but they're too old. But if you need help, let me know. I'd love to come out and support you. So really quickly, as Mayor mentioned, April is Autism Acceptance Month. I am wearing my blue, but just wanted to invite you all out. This is our first time doing this, so myself and Mayor Coleman are inviting you to the Autism Awareness Month walk on Sunday, April 28th. It's here at City Hall, so doors are going to open at 12:30. The walk's going to start at 1, and then we're going to have resources, so kind of like a mini vendor fair, but just resources to the community. So if you would like to come out, maybe you don't want to walk, you just want to grab some information from vendors, please do that as well, and we're going to have refreshments. So I'm really excited. I know everyone hears me talk about this, but my brother has low-functioning autism, so I told him that we're going to do a walk, and he's already asking me, when's the walk, when's the walk? So I hope you'll come out. Again, a worthy cause, and I want to thank the administration, the mayor, and everyone for supporting this event. Again, I hope everyone goes to vote tomorrow. Wanted to remind people that there is a lunchtime conversation here on Thursday at 11:30. It is with Fox 2 Roop Raj, so it's here at City Hall. I do believe that you still can register, but I think it's going to be a great event. Also wanted to remind you the golf course is open. So I know that it fills up very quickly, so I would recommend, if you are interested, book your tee time. I called over there, and they're already very busy. And I know with weather starting to turn nice, again, tee times fill up quickly, so please call in advance. I wanted to also remind you too, really quickly, that weather is starting to get warmer, which means that people are out riding their bikes. Sometimes children are running, they don't pay attention. Please, please, please follow posted speed limits. Avoid distracting driving as well too. You're texting. If you're a parent or grandparent, I know that they don't like this, but remind them to wear a helmet. Last summer, I was driving and saw that someone was distracted, and they actually hit a kid on Cowan Road just over here, and thankfully they were okay, but they didn't have a helmet, and they cut their head open. So just remind them to wear a helmet, be safe, and just avoid the distracted driving. Until then, everyone be safe and kind with each other. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and hopefully we check out our budget sessions, and you can join us this Saturday and the next 2 Saturdays. Thank you.
Thank you, Pro Tem. I will be brief as well, as brief as I can be, because I know the clerk wants to get out of here. I just want to say a couple of things. Congratulations to the police department on their CLIA recertification. This is something that they've been recertified on several different occasions now, and there's a lot that goes into the CLIA recertification. It's not just as simple as fill out a form, send it in. There's a lot of work that leadership in the PD and all the officers up and down the rank have to go through as far as testing and training and metrics that they have to meet. So congratulations to the chief and everyone in the department on the CLIA recertification. Please go out and vote tomorrow. Democracy is not a spectator sport. I know those of you watching at home will see this afterwards, but for those of you in the room, please go out and vote. And with that, I will cut my comments off and keep it brief so the clerk can get out of here and get ready for tomorrow's election. Is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you.
Support.